Good morning. So today I'd like to talk to you about how to communicate the truth. How to communicate the truth. Every one of us thinks that we have some truth and we need to communicate the truth. But sometimes we try to communicate your truth or the truth and it just doesn't go well. So how do we communicate the truth effectively? Our scripture reference today is taken from the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 17, from verses 15 to 22, and from 18 also, verse 1. And the gospel reading is taken from the gospel according to St. John, chapter 16, from verses 12 to 15. In the gospel reading, Jesus tells us that he's going to send us the Spirit of truth, who will lead us to the complete truth. So how do we effectively communicate the truth of Jesus, or even any other truth in our world of today? So let's look at the first reading of today. Paul goes to Athens. He had been at Rome, you know the story, and now he's in Athens with some of his companions. And when Paul gets to Athens, he goes to Areopagus, which is the Agora, the city where those intellectuals would normally gather to discuss philosophical issues. So the first thing that Paul does is that he gives a wonderful speech. And if you look at that speech, what you find is that Paul not only shows that he understands his subject, the topic he's treating, but he also knows the points and the philosophies of the Greek people. So the first thing you want to do if you want to communicate the truth is, first of all, know the truth. Try to know what you're talking about. Try to master the subject. Try to do your research. So Paul did a research, first and foremost. That's the most important thing in communicating your truth. First thing is know the subject. If you don't know what you're talking about, I'm not going to probably understand what you're talking about. The second thing that Paul does is that he tries to know the people he's talking to. You might know the subject very well, but if you do not know that the person in front of you speaks only Chinese, you might speak in impeccable English, but he won't understand anything. So what Paul does is that he takes the day before and goes around the city of Athens and tries to know the culture of the people. He reads their poems, he reads their philosophers, he tries to understand how these people are. And then the Bible tells us that he notices that these people are very religious people. They had altars to all the gods, even an altar to the unknown God. And so he seizes that opportunity and says, oh, that's what I'm looking for. So tomorrow I'm going to talk to them about the unknown God, the God that they hadn't known before. So in these two areas, Paul got it right, spot on. He knew his subject, he researched it, and he also knew the people he was going to be talking to. But Paul did a third thing, and that's where he failed. He got to Areopagus, he got to the Agora, and began to speak to them about philosophies and poetry and all those beautiful stuff. And then he comes to the point where he begins to try to use philosophy to explain the resurrection of Jesus. And then the people are like, oh, God, that crap. We'll talk to you some other time. So child of God, what Paul missed there, it was an opportunity to share his own experience. The resurrection is not a philosophical concept. It's not something that we can explain with human language. The only way you can communicate the truth of the resurrection is from experience. So, and that's true about any other truth that you want to communicate. It's good to master the subject, it's good to know who you are talking to, but it's also very important to have personal experience of what you're talking about. If you have these three elements, that is, if you research and master the subject, if you know your audience, you know your public, you know the people you're talking to, and you also have personal experience of what you're talking about, then you are in a better position to communicate the truth, and people will understand what you're talking about. I pray that God will bless you today and help you to communicate more effectively the truth that the Spirit of God has placed in your heart. May Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.